Beloved chosen one, your presence here is no coincidence. The hand of God has directed your steps, brought you to this moment, and placed this message before you with divine intention. The instant this video began, heaven acknowledged your arrival. The angels took their places, and the unseen realm recognized that a child of the King had stepped toward the inheritance prepared long ago. What you are about to receive is far more than a simple message. It is not meant merely to inspire or entertain. It is a prophetic declaration, a sacrée affirmation, and a heavenly announcement that the season of your divine increase has already begun. Across generations, this promise has remained alive. Through the passing of centuries, a hidden spiritual legacy has been carefully preserved. For countless years, a royal inheritance has waited for the one destined to awaken, stand with courage, and reclaim the spiritual and financial authority that had been concealed, ignored, and nearly forgotten. That appointed person is you, as Habakkuk 2:3 reminds us. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it delays, wait for it, because it will surely come. Chosen one, that appointed season has arrived. The blessings that heaven reserved for your life before the beginning of time are now preparing to manifest. They are not coming because of flawless performance or personal achievement, but because you have been chosen and positioned according to God's purpose. This is the moment where prophecy meets fulfillment. This is the turning point written over your life. This is the beginning of your divine transfer. Before we continue, I invite you to take one simple step. Like this video, share it with someone whose spirit needs this encouragement, and subscribe to this channel. What you are receiving is much more than words on a screen. It is a heavenly confirmation for those whom God is awakening to their true identity, their royal calling, and the purpose that has always belonged to them, and to everyone who has supported this ministry through super thanks. God bless you richly. Your faithfulness, your presence, your spiritual alignment does not go unnoticed by heaven. To every chosen one who keeps returning, who keeps listening, who keeps elevating, you are part of this rising royal lineage, and I am truly grateful for you. If your spirit feels this frequency right now, if something deep inside you is resonating with these words, type 77 inches. The comments. That number is not random. It is a sacred signal to the Most High that you are ready. Ready to step into your inheritance. Ready to awaken the ancient power within you. Ready to rise into the divine identity that has been prophesied for 1,000 years. Understand this. Chosen one. Not everyone will stay until the end of this message. Only those whose bloodline has been marked by prophecy, only those who feel the spiritual pull of destiny will receive the clarity, the revelation, and the activation that this word carries. This is not something you hear once and forget. This is a living word. This is an ancient echo rising inside you. This is a prophetic blueprint unfolding piece by piece. Watch this again whenever your spirit leads you, because each time you listen, another hidden layer of your divine identity will awaken. Another piece of your royal purpose will rise to the surface. Let me tell you something I've learned through my own journey. There were seasons in my life when I felt completely forgotten, overlooked, passed over. I watched people with less anointing get promoted while I stayed hidden. I wrestled with God about it. I questioned the timing. I wondered if I had missed my moment. But what I didn't understand then, what I know now with absolute clarity, is that heaven was not ignoring me. Heaven was protecting me. God was not withholding my blessing. He was preserving it because what he had assigned to my life was too valuable to be revealed before its appointed time. And chosen one. The same is true for you. Long before you took your first breath, long before your parents dreamed of you, long before your bloodline settled into the form you know today, there were ancient voices, seers, visionaries, prophets, spiritual scribes who received a divine message about a chosen heir who would rise in a distant generation. This message was not written lightly. It was not symbolic. It was not poetic metaphor. It was a direct spiritual revelation preserved across time, protected by heaven, and whispered through centuries. The prophecy spoke of a hidden royal, a divine heir whose identity would be concealed for generations, not born into privilege, but born into struggle, not raised in royalty, but shaped through trials, a chosen one whose destiny would remain protected until the appointed time. This heir would be different from birth, different in spirit, different in energy, different in calling. The ancient writings described someone who never quite fit in, no matter how hard they tried. Someone who carried an inner heaviness and unexplained wisdom even as a child. Someone who felt disconnected from the world around them, who endured attacks early in life, who survived situations others would have crumbled under, who sensed a higher purpose long before understanding it, who walked through life feeling watched, guided, and protected without knowing why. They wrote of someone who would be pushed, tested, and refined by life, not because they were weak, but because they were chosen. Someone the enemy would target early, because darkness often identifies divine identity before the person does. The prophecy revealed that this heir would not rise in peaceful times. No. This awakening would occur when the world was thick with confusion, chaos, spiritual blindness, and deception. It would be a generation where truth would be rare, wisdom would be ignored, and people would walk more by fear than faith. It predicted that the heir would carry ancient spiritual DNA qualities passed through generations, hidden beneath layers of pain, trauma, and survival, supernatural intuition, unbreakable resilience, prophetic perception, a warrior's endurance, a healer's compassion, and a leader's inner fire. These traits would not be learned. They would be remembered. Remembered as the heir awakened, remembered as the soul reconnected to its ancient purpose, remembered as the spirit realigned with destiny. And chosen one, that moment has already begun for you. The moment you started seeing differently, the moment you felt the shift in your spirit, the moment your mind broke free from old patterns, the moment your discernment increased, the moment you felt called higher without knowing why, that is when the ancient prophecy activated, when your eyes opened spiritually. The heavens recognized you. When your awareness awakened, your lineage stirred. When you stepped into alignment, your royal identity began to rise to the surface. This prophecy was not written for a multitude. It was not for a crowd. It was not generic. It was specific, precise, personalized, chosen one. This prophecy did not describe a group. It described you. You are the one it pointed to. You are the one it foresaw. You are the one destined to rise when the world needed you most. This chapter of your life is not random. It is the fulfillment of what was spoken 1,000 years ago. I remember the day I finally understood this truth in my own life. I was sitting alone in my car after another closed door, another rejection, another disappointment, and I cried out to God. I said, "If I'm supposed to be chosen, why does it feel like I'm forgotten?" And in that moment, I heard the Holy Spirit whisper to my spirit, "You were never forgotten. You were being formed." That word changed everything for me, and I believe it will change everything for you. 2. Chosen one. You may look at your family and see nothing unusual. You may see brokenness, poverty, dysfunction, silence, struggle, or ordinary people living ordinary lives. But spiritually, beneath the surface, beneath the history, beneath the pain, something far greater has always existed. Nothing about your lineage is random. Nothing about your ancestry is accidental. Nothing about your bloodline is ordinary. God hid your true inheritance in plain sight, protecting it through generations, so the enemy would never fully detect where the royal heir would emerge. And that heir is you. Your bloodline carries ancient power qualities that did not begin with you, but awakened in you. Ancient resilience rooted in generations who refused to give up. Generational strength forged through battles your ancestors survived without recognition. Divine intuition. The inner knowing that has guided your family long before you were born. Prophetic insight. The ability to see truth others miss. Spiritual intelligence. The wisdom that grows in your spirit, not in books, and a warrior spirit. One that refuses to break even under spiritual warfare. You come from a lineage that endured storms others would not have survived. People in your bloodline carried burdens that would have destroyed weaker families. They fought battles, quietly hoped in secret, cried in silence, and kept going because heaven was preserving something special within your line. Some of your ancestors prayed for deliverance, not realizing that deliverance would arrive through you. Some asked God for a champion, not knowing that the champion would emerge generations later. Some begged heaven for someone to break the cycles, the curses, the spiritual chains, and God marked you as the one who would fulfill those prayers. The world may have forgotten that your bloodline was royal. Life may have covered it under hardship. Time may have buried it beneath survival. But heaven never forgot. And when your awakening began, the dormant attributes of your spiritual heritage started rising powerfully and unmistakably. Your discernment sharpened because your ancestors were seers. Your intuition grew because your lineage carried prophetic sight. Your inner authority strengthened because leadership runs in your spiritual DNA. Your voice gained weight because your words carry ancestral power. Your presence shifted atmospheres because your spirit remembers its ancient identity. This is not new power. It is awakening power, dormant strength rising, hidden inheritance activating, ancient identity resurfacing. You are the bridge between the past and the future. You are the manifestation of everything your lineage endured to protect. You are the continuation of a spiritual kingdom that never died. It just went underground. The hidden bloodline is no longer hidden. The royal inheritance is no longer silent. The ancient identity is no longer sleeping. It is awakening. And it is awakening through you. Chosen one. Let me share something personal with you. There was a season in my life when I could not understand why everything felt so heavy. Why every step forward required 10 times more effort than it seemed to require for others. Why I was constantly battling invisible forces that nobody else seemed to see or acknowledge. I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I was being punished. I thought God was angry with me. But what I did not realize at the time was that I was not being punished. I was being prepared. I was not under a curse. I was under construction. Heaven was forging something in me that could only be built through fire, and chosen one. If you look back over your life, you will notice something powerful. Your battles were never normal. Everything you went through felt heavier, deeper, more intense, more personal than what others around you experienced. And for a long time, you may have blamed yourself. You may have wondered why life seemed harder for you, why you were targeted, why you were misunderstood, why you were isolated, why you were attacked spiritually, emotionally, or mentally. But here is the truth. Your battles were never about your circumstances. They were about your identity. The enemy knew who you were long before you figured it out. This is why the attacks came early. This is why the pressure was intense. This is why you faced warfare others could not see. This is why you felt alone, even in a room full of people. The battles you faced were not random. They were strategic. The betrayals were not accidental. They were attempts to break your trust. The heartbreaks were not coincidence. They were designed to shut down your heart. The losses were not punishment. They were meant to crush your spirit. The moments of isolation were not mistakes. They were engineered to silence your purpose. The spiritual attacks were not exaggerated. They were direct hits on your destiny. You were not being attacked because you were weak. You were being attacked because you were dangerous to darkness. Your very existence threatened the kingdom of darkness. Your potential terrified the enemy. Your purpose disrupted generational curses and spiritual strongholds. Your awakening activated ancient power the enemy tried for centuries to bury. Everything you went through was designed to make you question three things. 1. Your worth. Because a royal who forgets their worth will never claim their throne. 2. Your purpose. Because a chosen one who doubts their calling will never walk in their assignment. 3. Your spiritual authority. Because once you activate it, nothing can stop you. The enemy tried to confuse you so you would not discover who you really are. He tried to exhaust you so you would not rise. He tried to wound you so you would not awaken. He tried to break you so the prophecy would not be fulfilled. But chosen one, you survived what was designed to destroy you. You healed from what was meant to poison you. You awakened from what was meant to numb you. You rose from what was meant to bury you. Your awakening is proof of your power. Your clarity is proof of your calling. Your resilience is proof of your royal bloodline. Because hear this truth. A1. 000-year-old royal bloodline does not awaken quietly. It does not rise without resistance. It does not reclaim authority without triggering spiritual warfare. The fire you endured was refining you. The pressure you felt was shaping you. The warfare you battled was awakening your ancient identity. You were forged in adversity because kings and queens are never formed in comfort. They are formed in fire. You were shaped through spiritual storms because your spirit carries authority strong enough to shift generations. You were strengthened by darkness because you were born to bring light, and chosen one. You overcame it all. You walked through fire and came out refined. You faced storms and came out stronger. You survived battles that were meant to erase you. I will never forget the moment I realized that my pain had purpose. I was reading the story of Joseph in Genesis, how he was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. And yet years later, he stood before Pharaoh and said in Genesis chapter 50, verse 20, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." That scripture broke something off of me because I realized that every attack I survived, every betrayal I endured, every moment of isolation I walked through was not wasted. It was all preparation. It was all positioning. It was all part of the plan. And chosen one, the same is true for you. What the enemy meant for evil, God is turning for your good and for the deliverance of many. You spent years wondering why your greatness seemed invisible to others, why people overlooked you even when you carried more potential than they could see, why you were underestimated in places where you should have been celebrated, why you felt like you were not being chosen, invited, or acknowledged, even when you were doing everything right. But hear this truth with your spirit. You were hidden, not rejected. God placed a covering over your life, not because you were unworthy, but because you were too valuable to be revealed prematurely. Heaven hid you the way ancient rulers hid their royal heirs, protected, concealed, and surrounded by divine secrecy until the appointed moment. Your hidden season was intentional. It was holy. It was strategic. You were hidden because your calling needed time to grow without interference. Divine assignments required depth. God was shaping you away from noise, distractions, and counterfeit paths, so nothing could distort your purpose. Your spirit needed time to mature in silence. If you had stepped into your destiny too early, the weight of it would have crushed you. You needed wisdom, emotional stability, spiritual clarity, and inner grounding. You needed to learn who you truly are before others tried to label you. Your gifts needed time to sharpen without jealousy or sabotage. Had people seen your potential too soon, some would have tried to copy it, crush it, or corrupt it. God kept you hidden so your talents could grow without being attacked or manipulated. Your voice needed time to gain power and authority. Your words now carry spiritual weight, but that strength had to be built through experience, through heartbreak, through silence, through revelation. And even though it often felt like you were behind, forgotten, or delayed, the truth is this: you were not behind. You were being preserved. God planted you deep so no storm could uproot you. He allowed you to grow quietly, inwardly, and spiritually until your foundation became unshakable. You were not forgotten. You were being guarded. There were people, environments, and opportunities that looked good, but were not good for you. Heaven blocked access because exposing you too early would have attracted unnecessary warfare, jealousy, and spiritual attacks. You were not delayed. You were being prepared. Every tear was training. Every disappointment was refinement. Every season of isolation was spiritual conditioning. Every no was divine redirection. Just like ancient kingdoms hid their true heirs from enemies, assassins, and threats, heaven hid you because the magnitude of your destiny required protection. God kept you unseen until your identity became strong enough to stand in the spotlight without crumbling. And chosen one, now that time has come, you are feeling it. Your spirit knows it. Your atmosphere is shifting because your season of revealing has begun. The covering is lifting. The spiritual camouflage is fading. The hidden identity is stepping into the light. People who once overlooked you will start noticing your presence. People who once underestimated you will feel a shift when you walk in a room. People who did not see your value will suddenly sense your authority. I've watched this happen in my own life. People who ignored me for years suddenly started calling. Doors that were shut for seasons suddenly opened. Opportunities I never chased began chasing me, not because I changed who I was, but because my season changed. My time had come. And chosen one, your time has come. 2. The shift you have been feeling lately, the inner transformation, the emotional clarity, the intuitive sensitivity, is not something ordinary people experience randomly. What happened to you was not just a spiritual moment or a temporary phase, it was divine activation. Your awakening was the signal heaven had been waiting for. It was the sound that echoed across the spiritual realm. The air has awakened. The chosen one has risen. The moment your inner world began to change, the atmosphere around you responded. Your awakening was not gentle. It was not subtle. It was a spiritual alarm clock that announced your royal identity is no longer dormant. Your awakening showed itself in many ways. When you started seeing through people, detecting their intentions, their spirits, and their energy, without needing explanations, that was your ancestral discernment, switching back on. As your spiritual awareness deepened and you began recognizing danger, falsehood, or hidden motives before anyone spoke a word, you were witnessing an ancient gift coming back to life within you. When certain people suddenly left you, exhausted, while others filled your soul with peace and strength, it was your royal spirit, remembering its sacred nature and refusing to remain connected to anything that no longer aligned with your calling. When the life you once knew began to release its grip on you, when relationships that once felt natural no longer belonged in your journey, heaven was gently leading you away from places that could no longer support the person you were becoming. When familiar surroundings started to feel unfamiliar, it was because your soul had grown beyond its former identity. And when you longed for quiet moments alone, not because of loneliness, but because your spirit desired deeper communion with God, it was part of a divine process of separation, purification, and preparation for greater revelation. Every transition carried a message from heaven. Every uncomfortable season pointed toward a greater purpose. Every flash of understanding confirmed that God was guiding your steps. Every emotional transformation revealed that something holy was unfolding within you. Your awakening was never an accident. It was the activation of your royal identity. The moment your true spiritual nature began to emerge, it marked the time when the hidden heir stepped into the place that had always been prepared. In the unseen realm, your awakening did not go unnoticed. Heaven celebrated it. Angels responded to it. The forces of darkness recognized it with fear, because the awakening of one chosen soul changes the atmosphere of the spiritual world. Whenever a royal spirit rises, forgotten authority is restored. When a divinely appointed lineage comes alive again, destiny begins advancing with unstoppable momentum. This awakening reaches far beyond your own story. It carries the weight of generations, fulfills prophetic purpose, and reflects the hand of God. It is the sound of strongholds collapsing, old patterns being broken, true identity being restored, and spiritual authority returning in fullness. It is the announcement that the kingdom within you, the spiritual kingdom you inherited through centuries of resilience and warfare, is reactivating, reclaiming its throne, reclaiming its place, reclaiming its authority. I want to tell you something that happened to me during my own awakening. I started having dreams I could not ignore. visions that shook me awake in the middle of the night, prophetic encounters that left me weeping before God. And in one of those moments, the Lord showed me a vision of a throne room, and I saw myself standing before a throne that had been empty for generations. And the voice of the Lord said to me, "This seat has been waiting for you. Your ancestors prayed for this. Your lineage fought for this. And now it is time for you to sit down and rule." That vision changed my life, because I realized I was not just living for myself. I was living for every generation that came before me, and every generation that would come after me. Chosen one. The hidden royal bloodline is no longer sleeping. It is no longer suppressed. It is rising. And it is rising through you. Chosen one. If you pay close attention to what is happening around you right now, you will notice that life is not moving the way it used to. Things that once felt stuck are suddenly shifting. Situations that once felt heavy are becoming lighter. Paths that were blocked are now clearing. This is not luck, not coincidence, not randomness. This is divine alignment. In this very season, heaven is rearranging everything around you to move you into your rightful position. What you are experiencing is spiritual acceleration, a supernatural push, a repositioning orchestrated by God Himself. You will begin to notice the right people entering your life, individuals with purpose, wisdom, divine timing, and spiritual alignment. These are not accidental connections. They are destiny connections. People who recognize your value without you explaining yourself. People who carry keys to the next chapter of your assignment. Opportunities opening effortlessly. Opportunities you did not chase. Speak for. Or force. Doors that once seemed impenetrable suddenly unlocking, simply because you are in the right season. These openings confirm that your name is being spoken in rooms you have not entered yet. Divine protection intensifying. Enemies losing access to you. Situations shifting to remove danger. Relationships ending without explanation. And obstacles disappearing before they reach you. Heaven's shield around you is thicker now because of the magnitude of what you're stepping into. Old burdens falling off. Patterns you could not break before suddenly dissolving. Emotional weights lifting. Confusion leaving. And toxic cycles ending. What once held you back can no longer attach itself to the version of you that is rising. Strange favor surrounding you. Things working out faster than expected. Blessings coming from unexpected places, and supernatural ease replacing old resistance. Where others struggle, you will glide. Where others strive, you will flow. A new sense of direction, a deeper understanding of who you are, where you are going, and what God is calling you to do. You will feel guided, pulled, instructed, and aligned like never before. This is not coincidence. This is positioning. This is your destiny shifting into place. This is your purpose, pulling you forward. God is moving you into roles, plus, and environments where your royal identity will be needed. Your presence carries weight now. Your spirit carries authority. Your words carry impact. People will be drawn to your wisdom without knowing why. They will be magnetized by your energy, comforted by your strength, and awakened by your spirit. Doors that remained locked for years will open simply because you walked toward them. Your spiritual authority, awakened and recognized in the unseen realm, will unlock places man could not. Heaven is not waiting anymore. It is establishing your authority, your unseen throne. Your spiritual seat of influence, leadership, and divine assignment is being restored piece by piece. Your purpose is becoming clearer. Your calling is becoming louder. Your steps are becoming ordered. What once seemed impossible is now inevitable. What once seemed distant is now unfolding before your eyes. I have seen this in my own life. Doors I stopped knocking on suddenly opened from the inside. People I never reached out to began reaching out to me. Favor I never asked for began following me. And I realized that when God decides it is your time, no devil in hell can delay it. Chosen one. This is the fulfillment of the ancient prophecy. The 1,000-year word spoken over your lineage is not something in the far future. It is happening right now through your awakening, through your steps, through your existence. Everything is aligning. Everything is shifting. Everything is falling into divine order. Chosen one. I need you to receive this truth with confidence, with boldness, and with spiritual authority. You are not ordinary. Nothing about your existence, your journey, your spirit, or your purpose is average. You are not a mistake. You are not random. You are not just another soul moving through life. You are a prophetic fulfillment. You are a spiritual continuation. You are a divine appointment. You are a long-awaited rising. You are the embodiment of a prophecy whispered centuries ago. You are the awakening of a lineage that was hidden for generations. You are the return of a spiritual kingdom that darkness could not erase. You are the heir that history tried to bury. You are the one your ancestors saw in visions. You are the one they cried out for in prayer. You are the one they protected through their sacrifices. You are the one the enemy feared, because if you ever awakened, if you ever healed, if you ever remembered who you are, if you ever stepped into alignment, nothing in the spiritual realm could stop what would rise through you. And now you have awakened, and everything is shifting because of it. Your spirit is stronger than ever because your inheritance is activating. Your inner voice is louder because your purpose is calling. Your dreams are sharper because your destiny is unfolding. Your intuition is deeper because your ancient wisdom is resurfacing. You are the rise of a royal bloodline, not a physical royalty, but a spiritual one. A lineage marked by divine favor, a family line strengthened by survival, a bloodline defined by spiritual authority, resilience, and purpose. Everything you experienced, every storm, every setback, every betrayal, every lonely season served one purpose: to prepare you for the throne God has reserved for you. This is not a physical throne, but a place of influence, purpose, leadership, and spiritual authority. You are stepping into the calling God designed specifically for your life. You are embracing the identity heaven established for you long before your first breath. As you move forward, people will begin to see you differently because the unseen realm has already acknowledged the authority you carry. Your presence will inspire confidence. Your voice will speak with purpose. Your spirit will carry the authority that comes from walking in alignment with God. Wherever you go, atmospheres will change, hearts will be touched, and lives will be influenced not because of personal ambition, but because you are living out the assignment heaven entrusted to you. You are not pursuing recognition. You are stepping into the inheritance that has always belonged to you. You are not searching for a crown. You are reclaiming the one prepared for you. You are not transforming into someone unfamiliar. You are awakening to the person God always intended you to become. There came a season in my own journey when I stopped asking God why everything was happening and began asking what He desired to accomplish through me. His answer was clear: do not hide the gift I have placed within you. Rise, because the world is waiting for what I have called you to carry. Chosen one, that same invitation is being extended to you today. Refuse to hide any longer. Do not diminish yourself or apologize for the anointing God has placed upon your life. The ancient promise has been pointing toward this very moment. The royal inheritance preserved through generations is awakening, and God has chosen you to reveal it. Step forward with confidence. Walk boldly in the authority He has given you. Take your rightful place in His purpose. You are the one God has called. You are the heir appointed for this season. You are living evidence that His promises never fail. This is not a distant future, it is your present reality. The prophetic moment has arrived. You are not striving to become someone greater. You are remembering the identity heaven has always spoken over you. Your spiritual authority has been awakened. Your place has been prepared. Walk in confidence. Embrace your inheritance and fulfill the assignment God has entrusted to your life. If this message has spoken deeply to your spirit, declare your agreement by typing Amen. Share these words with someone who needs this encouragement. Subscribe for more messages of faith, and continue walking boldly in the purpose God has prepared for you. Your appointed season has arrived. May God's abundant blessings rest upon you